sorry, boys. Can you hear me now? Should be able to hear me. But what I was saying is, yeah, this month has been pretty painful. It has been difficult. But now we should really start to have a bit more volume in the markets. We've got this week alone, the BOE, the BOC, BOJ, and the Fed interest rate decisions. But it's been painful, man. It has been. It has been. I was expecting a lot better September. Historically, September is normally better because we've got a lot more traders coming back. Let me get this sent in. But historically, we just get more volume in the market, so we do tend to have a lot nicer moves. But it looks like we've not necessarily had that just yet. Maybe because of the interest rate decision, but we're really just gonna have to wait for those to come out. Let's get this in the fridge. I'm pretty much looking for continuations for New York. I'm not really looking for price to necessarily reverse. Maybe a nice retracement, but I'm not really looking for a reversal as such. Right, that's sent in. Let's just get that in the announcement. Let's get in the mentoring as well. Yes, Memmy, what we saying, bro? Ryan, what we saying, bro? Cam, Flips, what's good? MH, Ryan. Malala Puo. Sorry if I said that wrong, man. That's a cold name, though. Ewan. Well, sorry, bro. Ewan, what we saying, bro? Apparently, Lou said you're near me. I'm Great Dunmore. Really? That's not far, bro. That's not far. You're literally probably about 20 minutes away. Not far at all, man. How old are you, Ewan? Where do you sit continuing to, bro? Well, realistically, again, what I was really talking about for sort of EU, and this is what I've been talking about for the last few weeks. I don't know how many of you, man, have sort of been tuning into these streams. Let's get that open, get a bit brighter in here. I don't know if you guys been tuning into all the streams, but I've been really looking at the weekly, it might even be the monthly CRT on EU. Yes, the monthly CRT. So as soon as we grab this low, start of August, that's when I was really looking for price to really, for the whole of September, look to climb to the upside. And again, that was sort of the bias. Am I in a Discord? I shouldn't be in a Discord call. Did I just join it on my phone by accident? Nah, I'm not in a Discord call. Yeah, no, I'm not. So again, we're really looking for this CRT to be completed here. I'm still looking for this bias for the whole of September. I've already been looking for that bias. We've not really had good entry types for the start of September, but realistically, we are looking for a price to now come and grab this high. This is our external high now. If we even drop down to the daily, we're just looking at basic internal to external sort of price action. So obviously, this is one of the most basic forms of structure where we look through the lens of both the fair values, so really where price is aiming for, and then obviously the externals, which is like highs and lows where price is also aiming for. But we've got to know when we're either aiming for a fair value or where we're aiming for an external high or low. And obviously right now, in terms of the weekly, the higher, we are looking for price to continue and now grab the high. If we look on the daily time frame, right, quite awkward PA, right, very awkward fucking PA. I'd say 4 hours more the sort of time frame we're looking on. I mean, this is more daily as well. This is sort of smaller daily. But if just looking on the 4 hour time frame, we can see we're blatantly bullish here. We actually ended up breaking that high. So when we broke that high, we was really looking at this low to this high. This was a lovely order block on the daily time frame here. Let's just get rid of these lines so you can actually see it. this lovely order block here. Also had this juicy bit of imbalance here that we want to see get filled before the move up. We had that news come out Thursday 11th, which really pushed push price down and push price up, which is the exact catalyst that we had of the PRY that is now aiming for the external highs. Our external high on the 4 hour to the daily is this high here. So when I'm in the lower time frame, 15 minute, I know you can see this deep black line here. That isn't just my target. That's pretty much the prior week high. But this is our initial target for the week. It's only Monday, and we've already had a really nice maneuver to the upside. I wasn't able to get in anything this morning. Really fucking annoying, not going to lie, because we had perfect PA. And we called this again from pre-London. So from 7 a.m, jumped on a little bit late today. Cheeky little bastard. As soon as we jumped on at 7 a.m, as you can see, we had price finish our sort of pre-European Open. And then we can see we had that lovely pulmonary sell down, which obviously swept the liquidity. Not only that, came below the prior day 50, below the prior week 50. So in a really nice area to start buying now. A really lovely discount area. Once we come to that, obviously, you know me, look for a 15-minute trade through. If I drop down to the 15-minute. The reason why I'm looking at the 15-minute, boys, is because there's just far too many 5 minutes here for me to really dictate one. And it's happening to a lot of people, right? They don't know, oh, is this the trade through? Is this the trade through? Is this the trade through? For me, I honestly would just go up to the higher time frame, so you got one. It's just so much easier. So from my POV, I was looking at the 15-minute here. As you can see, we had that lovely trade through on this candle. Not this previous one here. This candle here is when we had the trade through. And I was looking for price to come back down to the recent 15-minute just below this one, which was caused here. But as you can see, looks like we had a breaker block as soon as we started closing higher and higher. And then we sort of just come to this area here. So it was a shame. If you was able to get into this area here, lovely. Aiming for Friday high was lovely. Prior week high is probably really nice as well, because that's the main EU high we're targeting. But this fair value here is where I was looking to when I did not get in a trade this morning. I was looking at EU over anything else. I was hearing on Bloomberg as well, we are quite bullish for the euro at the moment, because I think European equities are doing really well against US equities. So US equities are losing a bit of volume, hence why we're seeing the dollar a little bit weaker today. As also the anticipation of the rate cut, we know that's really going to have a sort of a toll on the Fed. So what we are really looking for now is sort of the continuation up. So obviously you boys know me, I'm a premium discount trader. I don't look to buy if we're in the premium of the prior day range. So it's very hard to see where we're going to see price come to. A retracement will be nice because we've had such a big distribution through London, and I really want to see sort of New York have a bit more of a rebalance, come into some sort of 1 hour, 4 hour imbalances, and then continue price to that prior week high. Or is that prior week high? To the prior week high. But I think main focus for me is EU this week. We've had a really decent euro. The pound is still stronger than the euro. We can see that blatantly on EG, so we know we've had the bearish move. So GU buys are really nice, but again, when we have a currency that's just super bullish and a currency that's super bearish, obviously it's great in terms of efficiency, so you are looking for these trades, but because we're so bullish on GU, and a lot of people call this an SMT, but it's just because we're stronger on the pound than we are for the euro, is we didn't actually come and grab the low. So you can see we didn't grab Asia's low. Yes, we took Friday 50 sort of early this morning, but we didn't come back to it. So for me, it just did show how strong the pound was against the dollar this morning, and still is. So realistically, I'm not massively looking for GU buys. I mean, if they present themselves, amazing, but you got to understand that if price is a bit too much already in the premium, it's not the best to buy. So that's why GU was sort of struggling for entries. EU, I can see how some people would have got in. But yeah, GU was just quite impossible to really jump into the markets there. So continuations again, we've also got this high here on this high on EU, and then also this high on over taking this high nuts. I think we've still got the same monthly. Yeah, so we've got the same monthly on GU. So again, GU and EU. Oh, I'm pretty zoomed in, so it's going to be quite shit. GU and EU, we're really looking for us to come and take the July high. That's sort of where we're at the moment, especially with that cut. That is going to be a brilliant catalyst to bring price up for GU and EU and bring that dollar down continuously. And then, of course, we got the opposite on DXY. So we're looking for the July low on DXY. So In fact, I don't think I've actually noted that down, but that's pretty much what we're looking for September. So I'm actually going to write that down because that is going to be quite key. That was sort of our Friday, right? What's the date today? It's the 15th, right? Pretty sure, yeah. GU plus EU CLT. Monthly. Looking for July. Looking for July low on the DXY. But that is pretty much my main aim for September at the moment. Again, we've got about 15 days left of September, so we've got like 2 trading weeks left. So we still do have a great chance to come and do that. Again, today's really shown that there's so much strength coming out of the euro and the pound, mainly the pound, which is causing obviously that real nice move to come up and start completing that CRT, which is very key for us right now. Best traders live in Essex, no cap, bro. Best traders live in Essex, no cap. I'll be real. I'll probably live in Essex for the rest of my life, man. There's some place in Essex that are bare nice, man. Obviously, I'll look like sort of further your way, man. Dunmo's banging. Dunmo's a lovely place. I'll probably even move like further out. But yeah, man. I think this week will be better. But I think what we need to bear in mind though is like we don't really want to be trading before this news necessarily, before the Fed come out with their rates. The Fed are coming out Wednesday, right? That's when we got our rates. I think Thursday's the BOE rates. Wednesday we also have 7 a.m. inflation coming from the UK. Previous was 3.8. Was that year on year or month on month? That was year on year, and then this forecast is 3.8. So no change there. We'll see how that actually comes out. No change will be alright, really. Lower inflation will signal a bit of a bearish stance on the BOE, and really we don't really want to be cutting interest rates. If we want to keep the pound strong and keep a nice bias, then it'd be nice for us to keep inflation sort of where it's at, 3.8. And then start. I mean, really, inflation needs to come down. 3.8 is so high, but if we want to keep the pound strong and have a good bias from pound against dollar, then it will be in our best interest to realistically allow the pound's inflation to stay the same, keep a little bit higher, so we keep that pound strength. So, if we have inflation come lower for the UK, we're probably going to see interest rate cuts sort of be spoken into the markets. And if we have continuous weak labour and continuous weak inflation, then we probably will get a cut sort of early 2026. I feel like that's what could come in. Again, still got tariff inflation, which hasn't really affected the market share. Will do towards the end of this year, early next year. Yeah, I'm good now, man. I've only made 500 towards my 8k stage 1. It's alright, bro. Honestly, there's not much going on at the moment. I don't blame a lot of people for not being in many trades right now. I don't blame you guys. I'm not personally. Yes, Jed, what we saying, my boy? Yeah, surgical, what we saying, bro? I think I'm going to start and trade 50 minutes to get inverted and drop down 3 minutes reset. Been good for me. Fair play, bro. Fair play. For me, I'm just minimums 5 minute really at the moment. That's sort of where I'm at. Bare minimum 5 minute. I got in the bottom of EU, moved to Profits Asia higher, which I held for 140 on a day, so I can't complain. It was quite a similar. It was quite similar with Mags this morning. One of the members, one of the Signal traders as well. He was looking at. He had EU trade, places EU trade. nice win. He was sort of aiming for Friday high, but then took it out early. But this is what I like to say, boys, and this is sort of what I like to do. RR, for one, isn't everything. That's one thing to know. But two, if you think price is going to get to a certain level, doesn't mean you have to aim for it. It's a lot safer if you aim for a little bit less, right? That's where you're going to get. That's where you're going to get your more chance of a winning trade. Hello, Princess. That's where you're going to get your more chance of a winner, really. So I wouldn't be pissed because realistically, you caught the move. But yeah, it's the same as Mags one. Yeah, that's what I'm. That's But then if you obviously think about that first, you don't really see it in a way that you've lost a bit of profits. Do you know what I mean? So in the future, bro, if you think we're not gonna have the move that you think, just aim for a little bit less. Or if you think that, aim for less anyway. That's what I do. If I think price is gonna come for the Friday high, I will probably just aim for Asia's high or a fair value just above Asia, or something like that, right? Mainly just Asia high. But just because you think price is going to Friday high doesn't mean you have to aim for it. Do you know what I mean? Because at the same time, if you think price is going to get to a level, but then just misses, it's annoying. But at the same time, sometimes when you think about a TP, you do think about too much sometimes. Because you're thinking about RR, you want great RR. When RR doesn't really matter. For me, as long as it's above 2 RR and you've got more than 50% win rate, you are so good. You can have a 50% win rate and be profitable with 2R, but I hope you want over 50% win rate. 1, psychology, and 2, just better stats. But that's what I would say. I say the same thing to Mags, and to be honest, that is probably the best advice I can give you, man. Because I've had that problem before, where I've got in a fantastic trade, but not actually managed to result from it because I've aimed for too much, or I think price is going to come to somewhere, but there's just not enough volume in the markets. Like, analysis is one thing, but volume in the markets is a complete another. So if you don't have enough volume, but you've got everything pointing towards your Friday high for a TP, you're probably going for Asia high, just a little bit less. But it's just understanding when to really go for either, really. Do you know what I mean? TP is important, boys. TP is just as important as your entry, and just as important as your stop loss. All of them are so important, really. If you don't have the right TP, you could stop out, or you could take way less profits than you was meant to. Same thing with stop loss. You could lose way more than what you meant to, or you don't give it enough room and stuff like that, right? Entry, very different variables of how that's bad. Continuation EU to monthly CRT, exactly what we are looking for, YK. And pretty much the exact opposite for the dollar, for DXY. Where do you learn the fundamental side of trading? Got any tips? I know a few bits, but not that knowledgeable. To be honest, bro, I mean, I've traded the markets for probably near enough 7 years now, isn't it? Pretty near enough 7 years. Realistically, what I would say is just being in the markets every day, watching Bloomberg every day is sort of what puts you on that route to understanding what everything means. I've got in the mentor, and I've got 4 Unreal videos that sort of give you a good, in-depth sort of understanding of all the different things you need to understand in terms of fundamentals. So investors, the news, and all that stuff like that. And how to find the daily bias with the fundamentals and stuff like that. Everything you need to know with fundamentals. But then obviously, again, just pure consistency of being on the markets every day, going through the news, going on Bloomberg, watching that every single day. It's crucial, right? For me, I would say it's literally crucial. You don't want to miss anything that's going on in the markets. A lot of people do, and they don't know it's happening because not everything has got an event, right? Not everything's coming out at 1 PM. You might have a fucking war that breaks out, which isn't going to be something that Forex Factory is going to tell us. Do you know what I mean? So understanding what's going. Bloomberg is your news. Bloomberg is your financial news that you can watch every single day and understand everything. Stocks, businesses, equities, futures, talks about crypto, inflation, monetary policy, fiscal policy, politics, everything you need to know to sort of understand what's going on within an economy. So for me, Bloomberg is one of the best fucking tools. I mean, I would love to say I've got better tools for you, but Bloomberg have it all. But obviously at the same time, it's all well and good listening to Bloomberg, but it's understanding what they're saying. So that's your first step, is sort of watching Bloomberg and then sort of trying to understand what they're saying, research what they're saying, use ChatGPT and stuff like that. But the 4 videos I've got in my course are actually so good. They're about, some are 20 minutes, one's 20 minutes, one's like 40 minutes, one's like 30 minutes, and the other one's probably about another 30 minutes. But collectively, they make you understand exactly what you fucking need to know, and setting yourself up to now start understanding fundamentals. You reckon FOMC can be the finisher to take DXY to the monthly low? Not as necessary. Not necessary. Wow, I've got this weird cough in the back of my throat, man. Bear in mind. I wouldn't say FOMC. I'd say more the Fed interest rates.
That decision on Wednesday. What a 60 minutes this has been. Concluded remarks from
so sort of, yeah, I guess. FOMC are the members. Yeah. But the interest rate decision. Yeah, top man, Jake. Top man. But yeah, Bloomberg, honestly, bro, is one of the best things. And then again, you're going to find some good trading books out there, boys, that sort of help you understand. I mean, none of these do. But just getting a few books to read, you know, before you go to bed or whatever, or fucking, say if you travel to work, man, grab some books. Just help understand the market a bit more. These Mark Douglas books help me understand what actually goes on within the markets, what type of traders there are, the history of trading a little bit, so you can understand what goes on in the markets. Understanding the markets is key. If you don't know what the fuck we're trading, boys, or the history behind what the fuck we're trading, you're gonna be on a what's the word? It's not an even playing field. There's so many traders out there that understand the market in depth, understand everything that's coming out. They have such a better leg up than you. It actually hurts, and you don't want someone having a leg up against you, right? Because you don't want to be the one getting manipulated. In this game, there is manipulation, right? And you will get manipulated if you're not careful, and if you don't understand the actual markets. That's why a lot of people get funded, lose their funded account, get funded again, get a little payout, lose their account again, because they don't understand the real market situation. So if that's someone's you, boys, you know what? Drop me a message, man. I'm going to give you my phone number now. Drop me a message. I'm going to give you one of my WhatsApps. Drop me a message on there. Drop me a message on here.
We do still have a very positive view in Mexico.
I'm gonna. Can you man even see my number? I don't know if you can see my number there. Take a screenshot of that, boys. If anyone needs help with it, drop me a message on here. This is my second number. Just come drop me a message on here, boys. If you want to start understanding a lot more, just how the markets work. And again, boys, I jump on live at like 7 AM every single morning, and we go through everything that the market really holds. This is why we know the bias every single day. Every day we know the bias. Our only thing we've really got to think about is where it is getting into those entries, right? If we don't have those entry points, we can't get a trade.
Mexico for VBA.
Yeah, best loser wins. I'm gonna read that. I read that ages ago, like literally when I was probably about 17. But I'm gonna give it a read again. I think I actually finished it, so I'll also give that a read again.
But there's another topic that is very important.
Just sometimes I think I hear Bloomberg even when it's not on, bro. Trust me.
Why we're so convinced that Mexico is going to continue to do well, which is the leverage in the country. Because the leverage in the country.
I've learned so much about the market as a whole just from watching Bloomberg and taking notes. Trust me, man. Literally, trust me.
Structurally speaking,
Trust me.
Leverage is so low that
Bloomberg is addictive because it's like you got the addiction of finding out what's going on. Like do you know what I mean? And what I love about it as well, a lot of people, when they don't think they're doing much and they think they should be doing more, most people jump on the charts, right? Think, oh, I've got to get a trade, I've not had a trade, or I'm not doing much, I'm not working hard enough, I'm going to place a trade. That's not how trading works. That's not working harder, just placing more trades or looking at the market a bit more, deeper analysis on the charts, because you're probably going to work against you. But what I would say is Bloomberg is the best way to fill time where you sort of feel like you need to understand the markets a bit more, and just everyone gets that feeling, right? Oh, am I doing enough? Am I working hard enough? And then you sort of do silly shit like go through the whole of baby pips and write it all down. Do you know what I mean? Just a waste of time, or go in the markets and start analysing a different pair, or deeply analysing something from like 10 different perspectives, and it works against you. So I think Bloomberg is one of those ones where you can sort of take your time, watch, if you don't understand the market, so you just don't understand what to do next, and you get a bit more understanding of the market. So at least you've put your time to good use and you've sort of understood the situation of different economies and stuff, right? But let's see if we can start seeing any tracement on the EGU, because it looks like we're still absolutely on fire for us for EU and GU, really.
Bloomberg open interest starts right now.
So bullish. Like, whole of London's just been strong. Every hourly candle strong.
Coming up, President Trump wants to scrap.
Yes, mate, what you saying, bro? Oh yeah, I'll drop you a message on stream.
In US equity markets.
Trading zone's good. I've read that. I'm onto disciplined trader now. Trading zone's really good. I'm gonna go back through these books and highlight some more shit, and I'll probably give these away in the Discord. But like I've read this and now I'm sort of going back through it and highlighting again. I started highlighting at the start, and I thought, you know, I'm just gonna read it and then go back through and then highlight it. So I'll probably end up giving these books away back in the Discord, innit? They're going to be highlighted with some of the most important notes in here. So, yeah, make sure you're watching out, lads. Hopefully I'll get that done by the end of the year. And then you can sort of... someone can get them. Probably do it like a giveaway or some shit. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at the signal trade. Let's have a look at the signal trade. I've not actually looked at there today, to be brutally honest with you. So let's have a look at the trials.
Earlier in the pre-market, TI down more than 3%.
Let's go back to our top story this morning, Matt, and it is President Trump saying that companies should not...
Whose trade was it?
...quarterly earnings. The president took to Truth Social to say firms reporting on a half-yearly basis would, quote, save money.
Oh, it was yours, Jim Bob. Nice.
...properly on running their companies. For more,
well, let's try to find the
Bloomberg
trade.
Intelligence senior government analyst Nathan Dean. Nathan, it's something Trump flirted with in 2018. How likely would this be to get through to the SEC, and what kind of big changes would it mean?
So I think it's actually somewhat likely, but I would say is I don't think it's going to happen by 2027, because like you said, this is something that occurred before, back in 2018, and the market participants' reaction to this was somewhat mixed. Investors were like, look, we want this data, but companies were also saying, well, there potentially could be some capital formation positives for this idea of long-term investing. So I think what the SEC will do here is they'll say, certainly, President Trump, we are going to look into this, but it's not like I don't think they've actually written a rule or anything like this. So I think they're going to go back, and either two scenarios will emerge. They're going to either do another request for comment, or they'll put out what's known as an advanced notice of proposed rulemaking, both of those occurring probably in the first half of next year, and then they'll go through and they'll try and find out more consensus of whether or not this is something the market wants, or is this something that the capital formation needs. So I don't think it's going to happen by 2027. I'm sorry.
Is that what you're? What you actually? What's your aim? Or this high hit? Oh, okay, nice. That's nice. Like that.
This could be a reality.
Really like that. Jim Bob's second smashing trade in the
regulations in that way.
So, you know, the way that President Trump is using executive orders in the regulatory sense,
I'm going to reply to it. Deserving of a reply.
Saying, I want you to do this. And so if President Trump orders the SEC chairman to do this, even though the SEC is an independent agency, you know, we don't think the SEC is going to be in the business of telling the White House no. So I do think
love that trade, Jim Bob.
It's somewhat similar to what happened in 2018 when President Trump floated this with former SEC chairman Jay Clayton.
Boys, make sure you're all subbed. As you can see, we've got a little sub goal above us. I'm going to get 3K by my birthday. It's about 57 days.
The one caveat is that when that happened,
I want us to get to 3K by then. You reckon we can do that? Is that a lot?
3 years we have left.
How many subs is that? That is...
All right, Nathan, thanks very much for that roundup. Nathan Dean there.
3,000 take 2,572. That's 428 in 57 days.
I felt comforted listening to him.
That's 7.5 people a day. 7.5 people.
Resembles America's dad somehow. Turning to tech,
take 8 people, then that should take 8 subs a day. Let's see if we can do that, boys. If you're not subbed, jump in, boys. Any of your boys that are looking to jump into trading, get them to sub to this channel. Again, that second bootcamp video is coming out today. I think it's coming out today. Pretty sure Lou said it's coming out today.
for the next period of time. And
Yeah, compound entry, that's nice.
Elon is the right CEO for Tesla over this transformative period of time.
Yeah, definitely, MH, bro, definitely.
Generational leader.
Nah, send it in. Send it all in the same like group, and then like do like a title for it or some shit. And then just send it in as one text. You should be able to send a photo of it. Just like put like a little title for it.
I mean, the market's seeing it as a really positive signal that Musk
and send it into chart check.
Table is saying, yeah, I kind of buy what Robin Denholm said.
Actually, send it to me. Send it to me, and I'll send it into the free chat. So I think a lot of people will actually get help from that, but I don't think chart checks check just as much. But then I'll at you in a message. But send them over to me, and I'll pop them in, bro.
The first time since the beginning of 2020. Remember in 2022, he was a net seller.
I've got my Nan sub. Come on, bro. If your Nan's not subbed to Richesse on YouTube,
Twitter, now known as X, and he needed the capital.
I don't know. Could have some bad luck. Your Nan could have bad luck. I don't know how it works. All right, I'm just the YouTube guy. I don't know how it all works. Alright, so that actually doesn't... That's annoying. That subscribe goal don't actually update live. That's kind of annoying. That's really fucking annoying. Let's see if this TP's though. Again, I'm really looking for price to really push up today. I think we're really going to see Priority High get swept. This level here, I'm not too sure. I hope it does. C7, you WhatsApp me, lovely stuff. Again, boys, if you want to message me and understand a bit more about the markets in terms of fundamentals and stuff. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you guys one of the videos. Again, drop me a message, boys. I'll send you one of the videos I've got in my fundamental series that I made. Just one of the videos in there. That will definitely help you understand a bit more. But because again, I'm sick of people like having a lack of knowledge of what's going on in the markets and then questioning, oh, I'm looking for an EU sell. But why the fuck are you looking for an EU sell though? Like why? Like genuinely why? Oh, I'm looking for GU sell because it took Asia's high. I know we trade ALG, boys, but there's so much more to the markets than just like Asia. Our strategy isn't just based off if we take Asia's high or low. There's a lot more into it now. We've developed this strategy a lot more deeper than just taking Asia's high or low. And again, understanding that is so key. And it took me a long time to understand the best times to be in the markets. It took me a very long time. But now we fully understand it all. So if you boys drop me a message, I'll send you one of the videos from there. Yeah.
So the Treasury Secretary says a framework has been reached. The President is going to speak with President Xi on Friday.
I might even try to do another part for it. I mean, those 4 videos there, the videos I like I made for the series, but I'm not even too sure When I told my nan to trade, she said no one wants to put in a graph nowadays.
This administration has been open-minded to the idea, at least.
Oh no, nan, no one fucking does.
Entity of TikTok die, but the president's post on
it's a different world we live in, Nan. It's a different world.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. We don't know anything other than that. The market response.
The thing is, though, people say that, but then, like, back in the day, if you was a trader, like, you worked hard. You know, I mean, you still work hard as a trader now. Like, I'm still on the markets every fucking day, early and in the afternoon, pretty late sometimes. Understanding what's going on.
That might be what we get, but we just don't know.
A lot of people don't understand the work of trading. Just fair dues.
You should, of course, watch his show at 11 a.m. Eastern. Now, investors this morning also waiting the Fed decision on Wednesday. President Trump pushing the central bank.
It's such a nan thing to say, though, isn't it? It's such a nan thing.
I think you have a big cut.
Like, it is almost a joke. It is such a nan thing to say.
Perfect for cutting.
Michael McKee, Bloomberg Chief Economic and Policy Correspondent, joins us now.
Is very true.
Trump expecting a big cut. What are markets expecting?
Markets are not expecting a big cut, and the president is likely to be disappointed. However, he is likely to get a cut. It is going to be a very busy week. Today we had Empire Manufacturing.
Go through the trading and zone screenshot. I'll send you on live, bro. Wait, what did you say to me?
And that could mean more evidence for the Fed to cut rates, but they're already on track. Tuesday retail sales and import prices will give us an idea of whether consumers are hanging in there.
I'm gonna send that into the group.
Foreign exporters are
screenshot looks very good as well. Did you send them in individually?
Wednesday is the big meeting, of course, and Thursday jobless.
Or does it just look different on the phone?
They could be influential, but the Fed will have already met.
No, the way you sent it in actually looks very good.
Quite as much. Before we get to Wednesday, though, we've got a lot going on. The appeals court may decide.
Oh, I accidentally saved it as well. I'm going through saving them and fucking accidentally saved it.
Asked for a decision by today. They don't have to, but we could get a decision tonight. And of course, also tonight, the Senate likely to confirm Stephen Myron to the Fed. The Fed meeting begins at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. The decision at 2 p.m. Will there be a cut? Will there be dissents? Plus economic forecasts and the dot plot. Got to stay tuned for that.
I know the Fed is looking closely at the jobs data, and that's why they'll cut. But inflation is still relatively high, right? It's still 50% above their 2% target. 2.9% is the headline number. 3.1% is the core CPI number. President Trump says, first of all, that inflation is gone and it's come down on groceries. But he says housing is the main sticking point. That's the big problem. And he thinks this cut is going to help somehow with housing. How does that work? How does that look to you?
Wait, for what book is this from, bro?
It's iffy. We're not sure what will happen with housing, but first of all, grocery prices are going back up again, which the president kind of left out of his statement. But with housing, it's the long end that matters because that influences mortgage rates, and the long end has not been, as you know, behaving the same way as the short end. The Fed is the influence for 2 years and shorter, and after that, you start to get into what investors think inflation expectations are going to be. So if inflation is still going up, then we may not see long end rates come down, which may mean you don't see mortgage rates come down. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen. It's not a one-for-one correlation.
Well, I know the last time the Fed cut, we had the 10-year actually rise. But if we got the long end down and mortgage rates were lower, house prices, I assume, would go higher.
Right, because all of a sudden the people who are locked in their mortgages that didn't want to move might start to move if you get enough cuts, and then there's more demand, and then prices are higher.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch. Michael McKee, this is your wheelhouse. This is your ball of yarn. Mike McKee is our international policy and economics correspondent. Let's get a check on futures right now. We are just 20 minutes away from the opening bell, and we do see gains here on the S&P futures, 0.1%. A little bit less on NASDAQ futures as NVIDIA shares are
love that MH.
And the small caps are
That's quite sick, actually.
I guess ahead of this cut.
Yeah, small caps.
That is
a
sick.
lot of calls for small caps. Matt, I think the thing today is bad news is good news is good, no news is good, and literally this fire hose of news we've gotten apparently is also good this morning too.
Ton of headlines this morning.
Headlines. We have another one for you coming up. United Health is said to be stepping up its lobbying of Trump allies. We're going to bring you that story next. You're watching Bloomberg Open Interest.
Okay. We got some talks around TikTok as well. I haven't actually heard about like sort of TikTok and the news around it for time. But yeah, now we're back with the sort of talks around what's going on with TikTok and shit. So it looks like now we're sort of getting this initial retracement from price, but I'm not really looking for it to come down too much. Maybe just like fill some hourlies like I was saying, or fill the 4 hour. But I'm not really looking for it to climb down more. Again, like we were saying this morning, bullish gold. We've seen gold come up nicely already for today. Not massively, but we've seen it come up for today. Some nice move for Asia, London, and the start of New York.
Business, markets, economics, tech, and climate. We go on the road for
but boys as well, we gave away 2 25k accounts on Friday. That was so fun the way we did it. That was such a good shout from Albie there. But boys, make sure you're in the Discord, because every 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing them every 2 weeks now, we'll be giving away 2 25k accounts to anyone in the Discord. One of them will be to a member. Yeah, so one of them, everyone can enter, and the next one, mentorship or signal traders can enter. So if you're a student, mentoring or signals, you can pretty much got a chance to win 2 25k accounts. But if you're just a free member in the Discord, you can enter for 1. But boys, make sure you're in Discord for them. Free 25k accounts. Like, who doesn't want a 25k account for free? From ACG as well, one of the best UK prop firms. I'll say the best UK prop firm, to be fair. But that was good fun, man. We had a good laugh on that. That was brilliant. Weren't a Kahoot, but it was still bare fun, man. It was bare good. Albie, that was such a shout from Albie there, man.
up arrows.
I've got to bless him in account just for that. That was fucking. That was a very good shout for me.
You're not thinking about any fear or any worries of what could happen.
Very good idea.
You can't
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious, man. That was brilliant.
J-Bat. At the end of the day, there's
Come on, slaps. No, man. It's the thing is, boys, is again, Lou did say this on stream, but we could just take these accounts for ourselves. Like ACG give these accounts for us, but we just say we want to give them away. Hence why we got 2 25k accounts. But we do wanna obviously give back to you boys, because you man give us better support. I mean, we help you man with fucking fair shit, so you better fucking support us. I'm joking, but the community, there's so much love in the community, man. We're more than happy to sort of give you man 25k accounts, because I know like a lot of you guys need to be getting on funded accounts. A lot of you guys don't really want to invest that sort of that, because they're about $250 these accounts. That's how much they're worth. So it's not the I know it's only a 25k and it doesn't sound that big, but again, it could really put you in a position where you can now start trading a live account, getting payouts and stuff. Especially with our guidance, you get to that point. Yo, mates, can you pass accounts with Algo? Who's gonna get Lou to do it? We're not doing them at the moment, bro. That's probably why Lou's not. I mean, Lou's replies are a little bit ass when it comes to Discord. But we're not passing any accounts at the moment, just purely off what the optimal thing that's happened recently. We're not looking to fucking pass any more of those prop firms at the moment, anyway. So the last thing we want to do. Because we lost 200k funding because of it as well, which is fucking annoying. So we're not really looking to fuck with them at the moment. I mean, I've always said, like, with these algo props, like, there's always a risk you're probably not going to get a payout, if you don't abide by the rules. If you abide by the rules, you'll get a payout, normally. That's really how it works. But I mean, I'm not in control of how the prop firms sort of actually operate. So, like, I feel bad if people don't get payouts and stuff like that, if it's like a prop that we pass, even though it's fully out of my control, really. But at the same time, there's no point. Stick with ACG, boys. Yeah, I mean, they pay out. I mean, I can tell you that for a fact. You getting anything today, mate? It's nothing today, bro. I was unlucky this morning, though. Again, like what I said as soon as I jumped on, this is a trial signal, so this is nothing I've placed. This is what Jim Bob had in the trial signals. Just gonna delete that for a hot sec. I was looking for a buy on EU. We had a really nice bit of PA this morning, especially sweeping all this sell-side liquidity that was formed in Asia and the actual sell-side liquidity of Asia's range. We had the 15-minute trade through, which is perfect in the 15-minute candle here, but as you can see, prices didn't come back to my entry, so I wasn't able to get in. But bias was perfect. We come below the Friday 50, prior week 50, so it looked fucking amazing, to be honest with you. Looked perfect, but wasn't actually able to get in, which is fucking annoying.
So I guess
wasn't able to get in, so a little bit frustrating, but again, it's a Monday. I'm not too pissed. We've got interest rate decisions coming out from a few banks as well.
Yeah, well, so we started looking into this across actually all the companies in the S&P 500. This is part of the Trump playbook right now.
So yeah, I'm pretty unlucky in you, but again, not massively pissed because it is a Monday, and I feel like there is going to be some more opportunity, some actual opportunities to get into a buy this week, especially with sort of the fundamental bias we've got massively driving our sort of dollar to downside. Naming it twice. That's what we might do. The thing is, boys, like this giveaway, we sort of like altered it a little bit at the end. But if you are a mentoring and the signals, next time what I'll do is you'll be in there twice. So you'll have 2 entries. So you'll have 2 entries in the last one. And trust me, that's a really good chance to really get a funded account. So boys, again, sign up for £48. I think at the moment we're still doing 50% off the first month. I think we're doing that for like I can't remember, but boys, if you drop me a message, I'll get you a discount code to get signed up. But twice a month, you got the chance to win 2 accounts. No, 4 accounts. Yeah, well, yeah, twice. So every month, you've got a chance to win 4 25k accounts, right? You've got 4 chances to get a 25k account. If you can, if from £48, that is nuts. And again, if you're signals and mentoring, you've pretty much got 8 chances really to get Wait, 8? Have I done that math right?
They've been having
No.
with the American
It's
public.
another
You know, how much are we
4.
going to
So
be
yeah,
spending
8.
for
Yeah, 8.
healthcare?
No.
Things like prior authorization that get people like really
4.
ramped up
Yeah, no.
about it. And so,
Fuck
you know,
knows,
they
bro.
have to convince the
8
American
chances,
people
we'll
as
say.
well as
You've
the
got 8 chances
Democrats
to get a
so that
25k
they should,
account.
you know,
So
be
boys,
able
it's
to go on
fucking
with
worth it, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's worth it to jump in the mentor. Not only do you get all of the pre-Londons or everything else, you also get a decently higher chance of getting some accounts. Do you know what I'm saying? Imagine if someone wins 4 accounts. That's 100k funded. You pretty much got 100k funded for £48. If you signed up on 50% off, that's £24. Imagine getting a 100k account. Imagine getting a 100k account, pre-Londons every single morning, full course with strategy videos, fundamental videos, psychology videos, case studies till your fucking eyes drop out. All of our help for a month. And again, let me bring back a 100k account for £24. That's fucking insane, bro. That is insane. And we had who do we win from the students? Did we have? It was George who won, right? I think it was George who won. George. Yeah, it was George. So George this month paid £48 for his mentorship. He's got a 25k account and our guidance and our pre-Londons and everything, which is fucking nuts. So boys, get the fuck in, man. Get the fuck in. Exactly what it is, though. Boys, remember to drop a follow, man. Still looking for that. Still looking for 3k by my birthday, boys. Help me out here, man. Help me out here. Where's Kingu Pingu? Rumour has he's still trying to claim it. That was so peak, boys. So essentially, right, what we do, I'm going to start doing this more often now as well. But we'll have a roulette wheel, right? We'll have a roulette wheel, and for the first one with everyone in it, there was about 100 odd people in it, so I couldn't really eliminate everyone and then get one person left. So we picked one person. If you wasn't in the call, if you wasn't in the stream, you couldn't claim it until you was in, and you had 5 minutes to claim it. So Kingu missed out by literally probably about 10-20 seconds or something. Like, it was so peak. So peak. But bro, you just gotta be active in the streams, man. Gotta be active in the streams. That was so peak. I feel bad as fuck, but again, like I did say in the Discord chat and added everyone, you have to be in the stream. And I did give him 4 minutes, which people thought that was too long, which it wasn't too long. It was just too fucking short. So peak. But boys, make sure you are there for these giveaways, because again, 25k account it could easily change someone's trading. Like, it can get you to a shit point to a really fucking good point of trading, especially with our guidance. Oh, it was EK that made the account. No way. Oh, wow. That's peak. I feel even worse. Wait, I don't feel that bad now. I forgot EK made that account. Cheeky cunt.
Finance and tech news as it happens. The floodgates of innovation are.
But yeah, just weren't in the stream, man. It was so peak. Discount code. I haven't actually. I think. Do we still have one? I think we still got one. It might actually be 25% off, boys. But I think it's only like 35 quid. 25% off. Let me just double check.
Balance of power at 1 and 5 Eastern, only on Bloomberg.
Oh no, yeah, we got a 50% off still. Yeah, we still got a 50% off. So boys, if you want the 50% off, and again, to be into all of these giveaways and get all of our pre-Londons and all that stuff, use code UPB 8JN 9V. Use that at checkout.
RBC also now expects the benchmark to end the year around a lower number, but it is higher than what Lord Calvasina had before, 6,350. Let's get State Street's view with head of equity research, Maria Whiteman. Maria, great to see you this morning.
Let's just get this up here.
This is an idea, the idea that this is an environment where the perception is that equity investors can't lose. You say that idea is misguided. Why?
Do you ever put that at the top for the makes more sense being at the top?
Actually, I don't think I can. With my colleagues about strong equity market
well, I think I can.
Hey, we have a world where strong data, great for earnings, weak data, great for rate cuts, stocks rally. We have volatility is not being huge. Investors are joining in the rally. Everything looks great. However, the problem I see with this thesis is
What the
that
fuck can I type
the
in?
idea of earnings being great. I mean, earnings are great in only one place, and it's tech. And I mean, it's fantastic. It's the largest.
I fucked up so bad.
Higher. But in terms of your allocation within stocks, it's just tech and everything else. So that's the trade for us. It's a kind of a relative preference, which is very, very strong. But the problem for investors, of course, is that everybody are crowded in tech. It's very expensive, so it's a difficult trade. We still think it's a right trade to kind of push Max 7s, but it's a challenging trade.
Why do you think it's only the tech stocks, you know, that have institutional ownership, and it's only the tech stocks that'll continue to drive
I made that large.
this rally? We were talking about Katrina Dudley a couple of days ago, a couple trading days ago, and she said she expects a rotation. So she's.
It's so windy outside. It's actually almost a joke.
And buying the S&P 493.
But it's actually subtitles.
Well, no, that's the conversation I had with investors for the last 2 years. Everybody wants to sell out.
Right, boys. So yeah, feel free to use that, man. Get 50% off, and again, you get into all of these giveaways. You get into pretty much 4 giveaways a month, pretty much, for a chance to win a 25k account.
Good 20% for this year. The rest of the market, a quarter of it, at best. That's the problem I see. So for me to have a broadening of earnings, to rotation, or broadening of stock return, rotation out of tech, you do absolutely need to see better earnings story. And until then, it's still Tina. Investors, I mean, they get on the risk of day, you get spooked, you sell big tech because it's expensive and crowded, and then what do you buy? And that's the problem. You need to buy something with good earnings, and you don't find it, and investors go back into tech. That's the story.
What if we get this rate cut this week and we get consecutive rate cuts? Is that enough for a bigger rotation?
I think we're going to get consecutive cuts. I think it sort of makes sense.
But, I mean, you do need to see earnings growth expectations. You do need to see earnings recovery. And so far, we are really not seeing it. And, I mean, a lot of it, I guess, is to do with kind of the shape of the curve. And we need to see longer end to come down. But, yes, rate cuts can be the first step in the right
But yeah, that's the code, boys. Again, if you're looking to sign up, pre-London's every single morning. Lou sends in his charts as well in the morning. Again, our full calls, full strategy videos. If you want to get profitable, this is the best place to be, boys. That is on guard. That is on guard.
684, and we need to get to 65.84. We need to get 65.87 for a closing high. I'm going to double check that on my handy Bloomberg terminal, but we are headed in that direction again.
And the NASDAQ got there, and as a matter of fact, if it closes higher today, it would be the 9th straight day of gains, which would make it the longest winning streak since November of 2023. We have your open for you coming up next.
Looks like this is possibly where we're going to start getting this retracement. Sort of makes the most sense to really start coming into the markets now. No, I don't really look at indices massively. I mean, realistically, the correlation you should have. I mean, like what you normally see is sort of when equities go up, it does make it strengthens the currency. Not all the time, but sometimes when you see equities come down, it does weaken the currency. It sort of depends on the situation between economies. Let's have a look.
Single best investment opportunity you see in the world, regardless of industry or geography. Why? And again, how are you making it available to your clients?
I think there's no question AI is going to impact everything we do. The opportunity to take great companies and use AI is going to transform. Also the issue of jobs. What do we do with jobs? Because there's no question you know, you can look at things.
But yeah, when we have strong equities, it should make the currency stronger. Because obviously it does show a sort of a growth in the economy if we have equities doing well, right? For example, if we've got Nasdaq coming up, we know tech in the US is doing really well, right? If we know Nas 100 is doing well, we know that. If the S&P is going up, we know pretty much all companies in the S&P 500 are on average doing well. So it does sort of tell you about economic health. So yeah, bullish equity is normally strong for a currency.
The technology
that's something to note.
For chips, it'll become
so that's why I always obviously have these on my right side. Look, S&P was sort of down for the day, makes sense. Dollars down for the day. Nas 100's up, so tech's still doing all right. GR30's up for the day, so we can see in terms of European equities, we're still doing well. FTSE's up again, like what I was saying this morning. European equities are doing really well. I don't actually have Russell on here. Or I don't have Euro stocks either, which I thought I did have. I not have Euro stocks in there? No, I don't. Yeah. It's not always the case. But if it does, obviously, if it's from companies that does show, which I can't remember what I was going to say now. But yeah, you do want it to show economic health, like good growth.
We are moments away from the start of trading. This is Bloomberg.
A lot of bond yields coming down. US 10 years 4.04, probably getting a peak below now. Gold's still pushing up for the Friday high. We're sitting at 3653. I'm really looking for the next area, probably this week really as well. Gold to see sort of 3.7k. Especially with that bearish dollar, we will probably see 3.7k gold by the end of this week. That's sort of what I'm signaling through gold for my gold traders.
Deutsche Bank is ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. The stock is crushing it. The stock is up 360% over the past 5 years. And I'm talking about Deutsche Bank, once the laughing stock of banks and the national bank of the sick man of Europe, has really come back. It's been pretty impressive. Fulton Bank ringing the bell at the NASDAQ market site. That stock is up also over the last 5 years. I always run a comp function before I come out here. Up 150%, so not as much as DBK, but still doing
driving
well
really
down
nice.
at the NASDAQ. Danny, what are you watching in terms of the stocks moving this morning?
I'm looking at the tech stocks because sure, the NASDAQ looks like it's going to be able to hit another record, but this is the force that might
the NASDAQ definitely hit another record. NASDAQ's looking to hit a record.
Session down by less than 1%. China has ruled that the company violated anti-monopoly laws back in 2020.
China equities is what's really weak today. Really weak today.
China also said that it's launching an anti-dumping investigation targeting a type of chip made by U.S. companies. That includes analog devices and Texas Instruments. So those shares down nearly 4%. Matt, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at shares of Tesla. You were watching them at the top. They continue to rise 7% basically after a regulatory
Tesla up
filing
7%,
showed
a lot
CEO
better from
Elon
it.
Musk purchased about $1 billion worth of the car maker's shares. This is the cult of Elon, so it makes sense for this stock to rise on news like that. We're
Tesla's
back with
looking to
Maria
rise
Whitman,
7% already for the day.
Head of markets, head of equity research at State Street Global Markets. Maria, I wonder if you think any other industry group has real potential to rise here in U.S. stocks other than tech. We've talked about your, your tech earnings forecasts. I think 26% is what I saw most recently for 2025. Who's second best?
That's actually a really good question, and we spent a lot of time in our kind of strategy team discussions about that, scratching our heads. So, I mean, tech is by far the best. I think the second best was a kind of
he's doing really strong.
Long behind. I think the area we're looking at is actually healthcare. So healthcare is the sector that is the most unloved sector. So investors, institutional investors in the State Street custodial database are really underweight sector. I mean, I would probably like to give you a sense of it. The size of tech overweight of benchmark position is smaller than the size of healthcare underweight. So just to give you an idea how much
goes to push it nicely, bro.
And we're beginning
Bare
to
nicely.
see some signs of earnings.
Mate, you're close to 10k now. Yeah, bare close to 10k, bro. It's so hard to get there though. Fucking bare hard, mate. I can't like get up from the trophies I'm on. Or whatever. Yeah, trophies.
So we're looking at that.
I wonder what you think about the banks. You know, I was just
Yes, Steve, how's it going, bro?
pretty shocked to see.
Mate, have you ever noticed a correlation with? Oh, sorry, I fucking
bank
answered.
shares over the last 5 years, and obviously it's not.
But yeah,
stock, but
through currency, not necessarily through pairs, but more for currency. Like again, what I like to look at is each currency, and then sort of look at the strengths and the weaknesses from each currency or each economy affecting each currency. Equities is one of them. Yields from bonds is also one of them. Political stance, monetary policy, fiscal policy. All those things that sort of come into my understanding of where an economy is going in order to sort of dictate the local currency.
So banks are doing really well in trading, in investment banking, in asset management. That's fantastic. But those are generally kind of non-recurring revenues. So you shouldn't really reprice banks, which really happened already, and investors kind of positioned for that. So to me, that kind of risk reward is potentially on the lower side, given that we're already positioned for kind of good earnings, and can they repeat them? I don't know. I'm not sure as the economy is kind of slowing down.
Well, good earnings we had gotten, and it comes out of a period for all of corporate America, Maria, that there was a real question as to whether we would get that. Trump this morning putting on Truth Social suggesting that he's going to be pushing the SEC to get rid of quarterly reports, instead have it just every 6 months, so twice a year. As an investor, Maria, that looks through earnings reports, do you think that it would make sense for the U.S. to follow in the footsteps of, I guess, Europe and the UK that does not mandate quarterly reporting?
I mean, we obviously need to look into the details how that will be implemented. But like in general, more transparency is better, more data is better, more chance of corporate managements to communicate with investors, to update them on their kind of plans and products is good thing to have. So I don't know whether you kind of don't report quarterly, but you still like in UK, companies often issue like trading statements and update investors on how they're doing. So we're getting that information, which will be critically important. But I mean, there is a good reason why US stocks in general trade at a premium to European stocks, right? Capital is lower in US than in Europe, so all those kind of better regulation, transparency is helpful. So I mean, as an investor, I think it's very important to keep this kind of close look at how companies are doing.
We do see, so many stories. I guess maybe the evidence is anecdotal, but I'm sure that papers have been written on it about privatizing a company like Michael Dell once did. And that way you don't have the scrutiny of Wall Street on you, and you can make changes that are geared towards the longer term. This is kind of the Chinese model, and President Trump often looks to China as an example of how he wants America to be. You don't think that would be helpful across the board for investors? You think that we would do better having, constant commentary and scrutiny, constant transparency from quarterly reports?
I mean, so there is obviously a trade-off bit. I mean, there is on one hand, on the other hand, but I think extra transparency, extra kind of communication with investors, that's something that keeps like cost of capital, cost of equity lower, ability to kind of talk to bankers, talk to market, update on the story. I think that's important. That also ensures kind of more gradual price moves as opposed to kind of all of a sudden we learn something about companies that we had no idea, no transparency. I mean, so some like corporate governance issues. So I think as an investor, as an analyst, it's better to have more information than less in general.
Maria, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing us all of your information. Maria Whiteman of State Street.
Still pushing.
Matt, I think comparing things to China is always an interesting choice. But Maria pointed out, even in countries where you don't have the urge or the necessity to report quarterly, they still give trading updates. Like, that is still a cost. If you're trying to save money, I don't know if this necessarily does it.
All right, it'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting question to put to CEOs, right?
For sure.
That we talk to, and we talk
right, we've seen a little bit of a retracement. I would have thought a little bit more. Again, no, we haven't closed this 4 hour. This 4 hour closes in fucking ages, actually, I think of it. So maybe 1 hour's the best. How much would this raise?
For so long and reported on this company. I talked to James von Moltke, the CFO, every quarter. At one point in 2020,
I don't think we're going to have a deep retracement into the OTA. I think it makes sense to come to around this 50% mark.
They're trading for less than 0.2 of their book value. Even in 2022, it was only a quarter. So
that's what would make the most amount of sense for me.
Price to book ratio, they're worth almost as much as the book value of their assets now. It's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. But let's talk about more American companies.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We'll focus on what's going on in the stock market right now. What do you got, Dan?
All right, well, look, it's the push and pull between the two Mag 7 giants. It is Tesla versus NVIDIA, which is going to win out. The thing moving equities higher this morning is Tesla, up 5.5%, up more than that. Given its weight, it is the biggest push upward for this index. But it's interesting to see.
That's actually awful. Why Bear Man's died recently? Charlie Kirk? Ricky Hatton. I don't feel like someone else has died as well. Awful. Okay. That's 4. That's all right. Bro, it's bare windy, man. Today it's so fucking windy. Oh wait, what the fuck? It's gone up on here now. It's 80. It's 25.73. But it's actually, I think it's more than that now, though. Okay, I don't really know how that fucking works. But whatever. Yes, Tommy, what's good, man? What's good, bro? Let's have a look at EG. I think EG is something that's going to have the biggest move. EU is just really looking for a retracement and continuation back up. EG, I'd say, still sort of favoured to the pound. So I reckon DTO could be really nice. Let's wait for price to come to this DTO level. And then we could potentially see some shorts down off that DTO. Because the DTO move is what we had this morning. As you can see, we had the retracement back up to the DTO. And then we pushed below the prior week low, below the prior day low. So really fucking low point. Breaking lows. So now we're looking for a retracement back up for the continuation down. So I think DTO, again, could be a nice level. Let's have a look. Is there any imbalance on that 4 hour, though? Yeah, so we filled that 4 hour imbalance now. 1 hour, got a little order block there. Not much else, though. 2 hour field, 4 hour field. So yeah, I feel like we can sort of come down at any point now. That daily imbalance was filled, and then we saw price continue and break that low. So we know we had a really nice move on that there. So really, for me, continuation down. EG, is there any monthly CRT? Not massively. Broke obviously that external high there. In terms of CRT, only real CRT candle we got. We actually don't even fucking have one, actually. So there's nothing really signaling for price to move in a higher time frame. So we're mainly just facing what fundamentals and that's telling us, which is really sort of that stronger pound over the euro. Euro's not the strongest right now. That's definitely where we're at. Okay. It's still continuing up, which is nice. Very close to it, actually. Very fucking close. Yeah, today was good for LG. Just not entries, but the actual premise of the LG played up really well. Yeah, I think this week's going to be good. I think we've got a decent bias with us. We've got enough volume. Should have enough volume coming back from September. But then also we've also got obviously these federal fund rates, which is key now. We're at DTO now, which is lovely. We'll see if we start training through some 5 minutes here now. But yeah, it's a really good bias at the moment. So I think this week's going to be good, man. But again, I've said that for the past like 3 weeks, and fuck me, has September been a dog shite. So don't trust my word, boys, at the moment in terms of good markets or bad markets. But they've been kind of weird. Do you know what I mean? I've said, this week looks bare nice. Oh, next week could be bare nice, shaping up bare nice, and fucking hell.
Has it not? It's like not though. Yeah, so.
It's annoying, but it is what it is, boys. Like I say, you just got to be ready for the right moments, and the right moments hasn't come this month just yet. Realistically, just not come. See if... I want to see his 5 minute close just so we can use the fair value distribution one. If I say my pseudo cream is out of date, 9.525, don't risk it for the spot. Bro, definitely. Definitely still use it, bro. Surely it still do its thing, innit? Surely. Yes, what I am. What's good, man? What's good? So I really wonder what is going to happen to TikTok. We got just under 3 minutes for this closure.
Upside to the quarter is limited because that, I mean, there's no doubt that, you know, if Nvidia beats and raises, China would be a big part of.
I just thought it might make your day, lad. Appreciate it, bro. You know you're not meant to like say that bit though. No, I actually meant to say that second bit. Bro, it's so windy. What the fuck? That tree in my garden looks like it's about to take off, bro. What the fuck? I appreciate you though, man. Holy fuck. Like, what the actual hell is going on out there?
China is one of the reasons
but air windy. Starting to get cold, bro. It's starting to get cold. So even to rain today, like 3, innit? It's fucking pretty much 3 now. But yeah, I do hope this week is a lot nicer to us. Definitely in terms of entries. It's not going to give us this 5 minute by the looks of things, so we're going to have to use this lower 5 minute here. That's alright. But we'll see if we get that trade from there. This 5 minutes not closed, and we've not actually come below that fair value yet, so we'll
Coming up on the show, President Trump says companies should not be forced to report earnings every quarter and instead should take a page from China.
Do by any chance take macro cycles into play? When I say macro, I'm talking like AMDX throughout the monthly, weekly. 100%, bro. I look at macro perspective all the time. In fact, not meant necessarily for oh, I thought you said gold for some reason. No, you didn't. So at the moment, AMDX, yes, but CRT is sort of my favourite higher time frame for the monthly. For me, AMDX is best for a weekly perspective. A monthly perspective, CRT for me is amazing. So I'll break down essentially what I'm looking at in terms of monthly and weekly through CRT and also through AMDX. So at the moment, this is what we're looking at on EU, GU, and also opposite for DXY. So our monthly CRT is aiming for the upside. So we're pretty much looking for EU on a monthly to finish this month bullish. We're looking for price to finish at least above 1.18299. So 1.83 handle for me would be perfect. Exact same on GU, as you can see, looking for this candle's high, a little bit more room to go. DXY looking for the absolute opposite of obviously what we've already got in terms of that monthly. But looking essentially for DXY to take July's low and for GUEU to take July's high. That's pretty much what we're looking at from a monthly perspective. In terms of a weekly perspective, starting off this week, we've had a really continuative day. So what we've pretty much had is a continuation of what we had from last week's move. So as we can see, we had this beautiful move Thursday. We had the retracement come Friday into the fair value, and as what you can see, sort of a continuation that we've had today for the Monday. So pretty much our week is panning out for an XAMD. Okay, so essentially the continuation or reversal at the start of the week. We've had the continuation. The accumulation come tomorrow, which for me makes sense because we do have the federal fund rate come Wednesday. When we have the federal federal fund rate through Wednesday, we should have that manipulation, which makes sense. And then the distribution Thursday, where we can really start trading that bias. We've also got the CPI, so inflation coming out for the pound on this Wednesday as well. So deep manipulation makes sense for me. AMDX for this week is what I'm looking at. In terms of the monthly perspective for CRT, for EU and GU, I'm looking at us to come and take July's high.
This is Bloomberg Open Interest. I'm Matt Miller. Quick check on what's going on.
So this is my macro perspective, bro. Monthly, EU, GU bullish. AMDX for this week is sort of what I'm looking at for the weekly perspective. That's how I analyze my week. So I get my weekly and I get my monthly. And obviously in a lower time frame, I'm looking for my ALG type entries for our early European session from 7 AM to 10 AM. Obviously you can see we've had that big continuation. Even GU's continues to break these highs. EU's done the same thing, still looking to break those highs, coming for that prior week high though, but GU's already obviously had that expansion, so we have a blatant continuation in GU, but that's pretty much what I'm looking at, bro. Yeah, I realised after sending how bent that was. How have you come to the decision that we should be looking for EUG previous monthly highs rather than continuing down? Market for me, I mean not even for me, market is definitively bullish for EUGU. We are weak on the dollar. Why are we weak on the dollar? A few reasons. Monetary policies looking for a cut of interest rates, not just a cut of interest rates, but a cut cycle of interest rates. So essentially, we should be looking at a cut this meeting come Wednesday, and we should for the next 2-3 meetings have consecutive 25 basis point cut. We are looking for interest rates to be cut massively in the US. We've seen inflation come down, so it's the right time to do so. Not only that, we're currently getting quite strong from the European equities, which is boosting the EU, boosting the pound, boosting the euro. So against the dollar, it is facing really strong. And again, I'm looking for the whole of September to be the same bias, weak dollar. From a perspective of the ECB, from a perspective of the BOE, they are not cutting interest rates. They're keeping interest rates the same, which is pretty much easing monetary policy, which would strengthen the currency, compared to the vice versa from the US, which are cutting interest rates, looking to obviously cut monetary policy and pushing us into isn't cuts good for dollar? No, cuts is not good for a dollar. Cut of interest rates depreciates the local currency of the economy. So no, it does not make the currency go up. Easing of monetary policy makes it go up. So if we're talking, so the current situation with the US right now, right? Inflation's come lower, which is great, because that allows interest rate cuts to come down. Why are they looking for an interest rate cut? Because they want to ease the government debt. How do they ease monetary the debt, and how does it do that? So if you cut interest rates, you will see bond yields come down. If bond yields come down, the government pay less on what they receive from government bonds. In other words, it's easier to pay back debt because it's a lower figure. If you was to buy a 10-year bond at the start of this year, you'd be looking at 4.8% return every single year for those 10 years. If you was to buy it now, you'd get 4.8% 4.08, 4.04. I think it's less actually. 4. Let's have a look. Where is it? 4.04%, we'll say. So a lot lesser yield, meaning that the government have to pay back less on these government bonds in terms of yields. But in order to do that, you need to cut interest rates. So that's why Fed want to be cutting interest rates. That's why Trump wants to see a cut of interest rates. If you keep interest rates higher for longer and higher than other central banks, it brings in more capital inflows. If I look at the UK economy, I'm like, okay, cool. We're at, what, 4% interest rates, whatever the fuck it is. 4% interest rates, cool. I'd rather invest in that than the EU, because obviously EU is looking at 2.15%, I think, or something, or 3.15, I can't remember what it is. But the US are looking to cut those interest rates. So in other words, the US economy doesn't look as investable as the EU economy or the UK economy, because we're looking at a cut cycle from the Fed now, so it's not the best time to invest in yields in the US economy. It's more better for stocks. Why is it better for stocks? It will boost the stocks purely off the reason that lower interest rates will benefit companies that borrow from the government. So a lower interest rate yield means they pay less back on bank loans. So in other words, you'll see stocks thrive, which will probably make the dollar more stronger. But again, cut of interest rates, monetary policy getting cut, you will see a bit of a depreciation from the dollar. So that's sort of my bias at the moment. That's where I'm at in terms of the markets, boys. That's me going through the whole monetary policy with the US, with the Fed. So yeah, it should make the dollar more weaker. So CRT for me, EU and GU taking July's high is my current bias. And again, we've had a really nice fucking retracement here, mainly on GU, not EU. But I want to see this retracement back to this 50% of this range here, which is this 1 hour fair value. So I do want to see price push up off of that. Essentially looking at that.
But I do think there is sort of like an unseen benefit from the fact that, by and large, companies that report on U.S. markets, that are listed on U.S. markets, are held to a pretty high level of transparency, both in terms of data, in terms of the arrangements of their boards, and so forth. And it does put U.S. capital markets sort of a cut above even a lot of other rich countries, et cetera. So the degree to which we may be giving some of that up, I think is something to think about when contrasting with the benefits, which are probably real to some extent, of not having to...
Appreciate the explanation of trader of your take on things. You use any kind of fundamentals other than interest rates, maybe like COT reports. COT reports are pretty much showing that everyone's bearish dollar. Everyone's looking for bullish EU. That's pretty much what most investors are looking at. Investors are looking at EU to get about to 1.2, or sorry, €1.20. No, sorry, $1.20, idiot. So pretty much looking at EU to rise to $1.20. Okay, so in other words, every it's a fucking dollar sign. So essentially, every euro should equivalent to $1.20, which right now equivalates to $1.17. So we're looking for quite a big. That's what most investors are looking at. EU bullish. That's what most investors. I mean, they'll talk about it this morning on Bloomberg. I don't massively look into COT reports. But from my understanding, the market is more facing the dollar shorts from that monthly perspective, especially because of that cut of interest rates. But it's not just interest rates; it's the whole monetary policy that I look at. Interest rates is just a section of the monetary policy. But yeah, COT reports are important in terms of volume and where obviously traders are based. Are they selling? Are they buying? Most traders right now are looking at a sort of buy for the EU. More the sell of the dollar, more the stronger euro. Hence why we see most of the volume going to the upside in these daily moves, right? That's why we're mainly seeing these big volume moves coming from the British side of the market. But it's 3 PM, boys, so I'm going to hop off. Like I said, if anyone wants to understand fundamentals a bit more and understand how to trade the market on a daily basis, I've got 4 videos in my mentoring, but I'm going to send you one of those videos that will really help you understand how the markets move, right? And how to understand where the market's going, because everyone just uses technical analysis but don't realize where the market's actually going. So again, boys, take a screenshot if I can get it to focus. But that is my second. This is my pretty much our Richesse number. But yeah, drop me a message on here and I'll send you over that video so you can get a little bit of a better understanding of how the market works. Give that a screenshot, drop me a message, and and I can send you that video just so you can get a bit more of a better understanding. But yeah, boys, I appreciate you, man, for joining. Again, keep smashing those likes, keep smashing those subs. We're trying to get to 3K. I want to try to get to 3K minimum by my birthday. So boys, help us do so, man. We're currently on, what are we currently on? I think we're on 2575, I think.
I didn't know how big.
Yeah, 2575 at the moment, which is decent.
You tell me you have a vision of being $1 billion business.
Yeah, boys, everyone like up the live if you can, just before I jump off. I'm going to jump off in a few secs.
Everybody's going to suffer.
So boys, do me a favour, drop a like if you've got any information from this
Money can do a lot of good. It can really transform people's lives, but it can also hurt them.
I really want to play fucking golf this week, man. Can I find the schedules for lives everywhere? So, the first live we do in the morning is just for the members. So that's where I really have sort of a deep dive into the fundamentals and deep dive into sort of where the market's going for the day and for the week. That is the members only. That's 6:30 or 7:30, or that's 6:30. Reason I've been jumping on a bit later, 7. Market's been moving a little bit later. But I'm going to start jumping back on a 6:30. So 6:30 we have that free London stream. About 9 o'clock, Luke jumps on London stream on YouTube, and then I jump on every single day at 1:30 for the New York stream. But bro, if you join the Discord, YM, we send an announcement whenever we're streaming. So definitely join the Discord, bro. If you go onto our Instagram, let me get our Instagram up. All of our links are in our bio, so you can just go on there. Nearly at 14k followers, but it's no. Do you wanna focus? But yeah, Richesse Effects. Just drop us a message on there, bro, and I'll send you the link. Or just go into that Linktree bio, and you'll be able to see the Discord link. I'm pretty sure it's the top one. Yeah, it's the top one.
Deborah Rodriguez. Good news for TikTok's American fans this morning.
Ooh.
Correspondent Vicky Barker has details from the foreign desk. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirming that a second day of trade talks with China in Madrid did yield an agreement that will allow TikTok to continue to operate in the U.S.
President Trump and Party Chair Xi will speak on Friday to complete the deal. But
So TikTok's still allowed in the US. Nice. Nice one. You too, YM, bro. Speak to you soon, brother. Have a good rest of your day, bro.
Prepared to let the wildly popular social platform die if it hadn't passed out of Chinese ownership by Wednesday's deadline. Legal questions remain. Loyola Law's Lori Levinson.
We're waiting to find out exactly what the deal with TikTok is and whether it will meet the requirements under the congressional.
Yeah, that's right. Well, boys, I'm gonna jump off. I'll see you boys in the Discord. Love you all, man.